Tony Talk. Listen in the room.
عاشقان از دست رفتن همینو بس.
The door swings open and we are presented with the first look of the BP2 collection. Valyntina Thomas comes walking down the runway in a red tailored bar jacket, eyes blindfolded by white mesh over red fabric. Now, I could show you the rest of the looks, but there's a beginning to every journey.
This is the only thing that's happening right now. I will tell you next steps later, but just know I was feeling impulsive.
Later.
Made it out the shop. If I did want to see the day, it's a setback. Every time I see the cage, you got warfare. If you do, then we can play. It got real dark. I like, bro, I see the way. It could be nacho cheese, my little shorty Frito-Lay. I look both ways across the streets, and that shit still wanna say, oh, go to church. Man, damn, I need to pray. SOSABABY gang. How that pound smell?
We arrived at the venue at around 7:05 p.m. It was a sold-out show. People trying to purchase tickets at the door were turned around. After getting your tickets scanned at the door, you were to go up these stairs that led to the lobby bar area. There was a mandated dress code of all black formal wear. Failure to do so meant denied entry to the show. Meanwhile, waiting for the show to start, you could see guests looking for their friends, staff pacing between backstage, the runway, and the entrance, and the media personnel assuming position.
Also, refrain. I know there's going to be some juicy looks, but please refrain from clapping until after the show has commenced. With that, let's have Teo Mata's BP2, everyone.
Okay, now we can pick up where we left off. Teo Mata is a fashion designer based in the San Francisco area. His work merges fashion and sculpture into an art. This is his 5th project and 2nd runway show, which is part of his Bubble theme files. The Bubble files stand as their own theme within Teo's design method, where he experiments with contortions, surrealism, and elegance. The approach is an artist-first way. Hidden messages can be found in the garments that reflect his life and experience as a designer. BP2 was born shortly after Scraps, showcasing a quick focus in direction and introducing an exploration of color. When interviewing Teo, he mentions that Scraps was made when he was going through an angry-filled period and he felt vengeful towards the world. He was trying very hard to make a statement, which explains the brutalist and chaotic nature of this collection. BP2 is a sister to Scraps, the more calm and elegant sibling. Throughout the collection, Teo references past designs from both Bubbles and Scraps. You can see him growing out of that rugged and rough, almost punk-like phase. Stepping out of that chaotic youth and into a more lighter and romantic space shows evolution in his work. Teo also pulled inspiration from Raf Simons' first haute couture collection at Christian Dior for Fashion Winter 2012. These cuts and silhouettes could be seen reflected in BP2, but in Teo's unique way. Teo is hinting at some ready-to-wear designs for the future, but still keeping true to his avant-garde roots. BP2 had a total of 24 looks, which were each tailored to the model. The project lasted about 4 months, in which models were casted, materials were sourced, and of course, the actual concept for the collection was curated. BP2 symbolizes romance. Teo describes it as a marriage between him and fashion as an art. He experienced falling in love throughout the production of this collection, which is why he intentionally limited the color palette to red and white. To learn a little more from Teo, I present to you our exclusive interview. Before the interview section begins, I do want to apologize for the background noise throughout Teo's segment. This was filmed right after the show during the after party, hence the loud music. Subtitles are provided for your viewers to keep up with the dialogue.
Hello guys, this is Roxy Banos. Teo just finished the collection, which is a reflection, learned a little bit about Teo himself. Yeah.
My name is Teodore, Teo Mata. I go by Teo because this is kind of short. So I'm actually from Los Angeles. I was born in Inglewood, California, and I moved out here when I was 20. And I just started doing all of this in 2020. Kind of like during the pandemic. It first started off as like a hobby, but then I realized that those abstract designs are like something that a lot of people really like. And it pretty much just gave me the confidence to continue going.
Right. And what do you feel like you did this collection different from your past collection?
I've had about 5 projects. I've had 2 runway shows. This is my second runway show. And this, in my opinion, is my best collection. Just in terms of not necessarily execution design-wise, but just overall, the team was better. The organization was better. There's definitely some things we can improve upon for next time. But I really like this one because I really felt like I learned from my past work that I can actually start applying these really abstract and surrealist ideas onto garments, actual regular garments.
Okay. And explain your creative process as to how the development of the collection itself, kind of like what you went through, kind of things that you applied for the creative process when making BP2.
Yeah. So BP2 is basically reflections of my past life and kind of an experience as a whole, as me as a person. Because to me, fashion before anything is an art, and I like to think of fashion as like a canvas to really express myself. So, for example, the reason why the garments were red and white was because I really wanted this real romantic feel to it. The romance behind it is because scraps, if you look back at my older work, that one was really rugged. It was punky. It was almost like, get the hell out of my face. This one I really wanted something that was soft and more elegant and almost like how couture-like in a sense. And I felt like the only way I was able to really do that was by making the red and the white. I tried to limit my color palette to only 2 colors, only because I really like to focus on silhouettes itself instead of focusing on the colors and just color blocking. I'd rather just focus on the actual silhouette before applying colors.
Where do you plan on going with fashion now? In the future, is there anything that you have in mind that you want to do, or a goal that you want to reach, or something like that?
Yeah. So after this show, it's already approved. I'm gonna have another show in January 2023. Now I'm gonna be called Interlude, which is basically me and my team. We're gonna start brainstorming and about a month, and we're just gonna start going into a different direction because scraps and BP2 are somewhat similar. They're kind of like brothers and sisters. Interlude is gonna be more of a testing ground to like experiment with different silhouettes, different color patterns, fabrics, and so on and so forth. But as far as like future, I don't really entirely know yet. Like I think the piece is just starting to grow. Right. And right now we're in the early stages of what it's gonna be. But I definitely feel like I have a momentum. After the show, I think I've caught some pretty good attention.
Right.
But as far as future, I'm gonna just continue making my shows. I'm gonna have pop-ups, exhibitions, and then at some point I will make a regular wear for people to actually purchase my garments.
Okay. At what point in the timeline of you designing do you decide that this is the career that you wanted to pursue and stick to?
Yeah, so funny thing, I'm actually a journalism major. I actually graduated with a degree in journalism, and I just felt like I knew I always had this like really creative itch ever since I was a little kid. I wanted to do sculptures when I was younger, but I never really had the hands for it. So I always knew that I can still be creative. So I always would experiment within myself with clothing. Nothing too crazy, you know, I would just kind of like, sometimes I would venture into the women's section and just kind of be like, what can I do if I cut it this way? Or what can I do if I stitch this that way? And then I really like Roman architecture, like those statues. And I really tried to apply those contortions and surrealist textures onto the clothes to make them look like statues.
What's one thing that you would say to the younger generation that they're looking to become designers? Like, how do you set yourself up for success when creating a collection and things like that?
What can I say? I started off raw, literally from scratch, and I did not have confidence in the beginning because I saw so many kids from Central St. Martin's and you know, all the like big time designers, and I just never felt like I could ever look them eye to eye. And I just started, like, I just literally I don't really use a sewing machine anymore, I just use my hands. But I just started creating, and as far as the collection making goes, if you are a designer, I think you can go two ways with it. You can go the artistic way, and you can go the ready-to-wear way. But every collection should be within you. It should be a unique experience that you've had in life. Because if you're gonna create these like really extravagant shows, they need to be very much reflective of the designer itself, right? So what the clothes shows is a big reflection of the designer. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, of course.
I really encourage people from like the inner cities to really venture out of that, you know, explore silhouettes, explore colors, explore art. I don't think we're given the tools to really do that. And at some point, if I, knock on wood, if I become big, I do want to open up an art school in Teodore to kind of give them a chance to really get exposed to like higher, so to speak, art and fashion.
All right, so Teo, what does fashion mean to you?
What does fashion mean to me? So fashion to me, I think, at one point I didn't really know, but I think now it's a form of expression. I know that's probably really vague, but it's the only real creative outlet that I've ever felt like I was actually good at. And to me, fashion is like very much that. It's my very artist-first approach. And fashion should be emotional. Fashion should be, in some ways, intellectual. And I think it should always come from your inner being. I don't know if that really makes any sense, but that's what fashion really means to me.
Thank you so much, Teo, for having this interview with me and sitting down and taking the time literally right after the show. I can't wait for everybody to see the amazing looks that you created. Just bravo. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, you may remember I introduced Tina in the first look, and you probably realized she had several looks on the runway. Tina was Teo's muse and inspiration for the collection. I got a chance to ask her a couple questions about herself and her involvement with BP2.
Anyways, reporting live again
from BP2. Here we have Valyntina.
Hi, I'm Valyntina. I'm here from the Bay Area, born and raised. I'm excited for this.
Super cool. So what was your favorite part about being involved in this collection, working with Teo, working with the rest of the models? Like, how was that?
It was awesome, honestly. Like, the whole entire time, they made me feel so comfortable, and like, we really grew a family. Like, I've never done any modeling before. I mean, when I was younger, I have, but this was like a real thing for like my adult life. And I feel like I created a family. Like, I was expecting to have like the stereotype of models being really rude and like the designer not having a relationship with his models, but he really cares about his models, and like he puts effort to create relationships and not just like, oh, you're gonna wear this, like you're gonna work for me or whatever. Like, it's a whole experience, and we've created like good relationships.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of models that I've talked to, that like he really does care about his models, and that means so much. Like, this is not just like about like, you know, the attention and things like that. Like, he cares about you guys. He wants to make sure that you guys feel like well being a part of this project, and I adore that about him. So Valyntina, tell me, how did you meet Teo exactly?
He DM'd me on Instagram a long time ago, like probably last year, and I never saw the DM, and it took like, I saw it in May, and I was like, oh my gosh, I missed this DM, I missed this opportunity, like, is he still gonna take me? And I replied, and he saw my message, and like, I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna take me, like, he took me. So yeah, it's kind of like fate. Like, he was telling me that it was probably good that I didn't see his DM, because at the time he was just starting, and he was like, this is good that you came now, because you wouldn't have gotten as much like credit or like time in the fashion show if you hit me up then. So it was nice.
That is so amazing. I'm glad you guys did end up working together though, or like, you know, being around each other. I can definitely tell that you guys, like, the relationship is very like equal, and you guys really like give a lot to each other, and that's really lovely. What's something that you take away from the fashion show? Like, what's something that you feel like you learned or something like that?
I think, well, I'm a designer myself, so every time I'm looking at Teo and what he's doing and like every aspect of the fashion show, I'm just like taking notes in my head. Like, if I want a fashion show, then I have to do it like this. And like, Teo thinks about everything that he wants to do, and like, he just doesn't put it out there. He has to think about it hard before he does it. And I'm like, everything I do, everything I say, I should put it with 100% my like effort and care into it, because that's what Teo does, and I need to do that for my show too. Like, you can't slip up at all. And also, you should put love into things that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's like a good influence, and like also you're a good influence on him, and you guys just kind of like balance each other out. That's like really, really great. But one last question, as for designing or modeling or other passions do you have any goals in the future, like, that are something that you really, really have been wanting to do, or really have been wanting to do recently, something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to do. First thing is I want to continue this modeling thing. I want to reach like new limits with it, get known out there more, make new connections, and I want to start making more clothing of myself, and like be seen in the fashion world a lot more, and put my designs out and create my own fashion show. And yeah, just like other things with school and like business and stuff. I want to be on my on my stuff.
Right. No, I get it. Anyways, thank you, Valyntina, so much for giving me your time in this lovely, lovely interview with your lovely words. I am so happy to have met you today. You are a star, and I cannot wait to where you go with designing, modeling, whatever you choose to do in your life. I know you will be good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope everyone enjoyed the BP2 analysis and interviews. I'm very excited for everyone to experience Teo's craft and to get an inside look at the fashion community. This is a new journey for me, and I'm very thankful for everyone who continues to support me through all of my ventures. Thank you, Teo, for letting me into your space and for allowing me to present this to an audience. To stay tuned, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Roxy Banos. The link will be in the description. And to receive post notifications, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next video.